taking a look at the latest model run update of this northeast coast storm, we do have some mix to talk about, as well as some heavier snow mixing in as we go into this afternoon here. You can see heavy snow filling much of the state of Maine. You can see right here, and then maybe we have some mix there as well. And as we continue into southern Maine, we're going to see mainly all rain. We're likely going to maybe also see a few perhaps drops of like grapple or something near Bangor or something like that, or Bangor. I don't know how to pronounce that. But as we go into this evening here, you can see more heavy snow advecting as a westerly flow takes place, it seems like here. And that's just going to continue advecting snow, heavy at times, onto Maine as we go into the overnight hours here, into the wee hours of tomorrow morning here. Heavy snow coming down all in Maine, even getting into New York, finally getting some snow there. And then we get over here into Ohio, and then it's just basically this big line of snow at this point. So it's going to be a snowy one over the course of the next couple days here, especially today up in New England here. As we go into Saturday morning, though, notice that we get another round of heavier snow in this entire area right here, perhaps mixed with rain in the slightest bit here. As we go into Saturday afternoon or tomorrow afternoon, we have two separate areas of snow may mix, and we also have heavier snow up here, and we're going to continue with that kind of northwesterly westerly flow in this area right here. So there could be some lake effect for your New Year's plans, though those the lake effect's likely going to start clearing out as snow continues to come down here. As we go into New Year's Eve, it's going to start getting active once more. 6 a.m. on New Year's Eve here. You can see this is the end of the model run, but look what is coming down on New Year's Eve in the morning here. It is crazy snow coming down in northern Indiana, Michigan, and portions of eastern Wisconsin, perhaps off the lake. Here we get a couple bands off the lakes as well. So just be aware of that and be mindful of that. But anyways, now that we're done talking about those storms, we have the potential for a massive snowstorm in the next few days. Right now, let's track it. Okay, so what I like to look at when we're tracking big systems like this is how they phase together. And I'm watching basically these two systems, one off the coast of California and one strangling in Montana. Watch how they just try to phase together as it moves into the northeast here. This will likely create the potential for probably a moderate impact winter storm. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had some snow in North Carolina if that trough dips so low. And then we have another system to watch that probably could bring severe weather. It looks like a cutoff low to me. Let's take a look at the precipitation here, because how those two systems were phasing together, well, watch this. System 1 is coming along here, which could potentially bring some heavy, cold, freezing rain to Texas. Not literally freezing rain, I'm saying a cold rain. Not any severe weather, thunderstorms expected, just a really cold rain. And it's going to really factor into that. And you can see the mix starting right there. And then watch as that streamline tries to connect with System 2 here up near Michigan. And watch how they just phase together to create this massive winter storm in this entire region that I'm circling right here. Ohio, down into the North Carolina and Tennessee. And then as you go here, and then you're talking about Pennsylvania, New York, and then as it moves up the coast, it's a big old nor'easter at this point. We could potentially be talking the blizzard if we do get this up here, and if we do get strong winds like it's saying, 986 millibars, and there's close contours here, we could have blizzard conditions with this system that we're really going to need to watch. And this next system coming along is also going to need to be watched as well, as it is a 993 millibar, which could potentially factor severe weather. We're just going to have to keep our eyes on it. That's the best we can do right now. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about here is quite important, and I'm not meaning to do any hype or anything, but we got a massive stratospheric warning here. It's a tongue twister. You can see right here, look at that stratospheric warming. This is looking up 100,000 feet in the atmosphere. By the way, guys, just to let you know, this is not surface temperature. You will not have probably 90-degree temperatures in Canada. Absolutely not this time of year. But there is a stratospheric warming signal above our heads. You're not going to feel it, but this does factor in where the polar vortex goes. And this stratospheric warming event could push the polar vortex out of its place and really start to weaken it, and it might bring some couple big bumps to the United States. You can see here, as we go into January 5th time frame here, this is already starting to show some sort of signal that we could potentially have a couple cold blasts by the end of the model run here. But this is January 5th, and this is just a few days out. Well, it's a week out, but you know what I mean. It's not that far out. And the model that I showed you earlier, remember, there's going to be two systems coming along at that time. So this next system could be very significant if this polar vortex does drop a bomb on us here, and then the stratospheric warming obviously weakens, and then the polar vortex just comes barreling down. We're going to need to watch that very closely as we go in towards middle to late January, potentially for a big blast from the polar vortex. Alright, so now taking a look at more lower parts of the atmosphere. This is still above our heads. This is still quite above the surface. But you notice here that we get this little bluish, this little dark blue shade in the southeast and Midwest and Ohio Valley, as well as some ridging ongoing for portions of Canada. Don't you realize that is stratospheric warming trying to take effect here? And there is actually some warmer air factoring in for Canada. This is due to that ridge that was dune this summer, and it's basically been over there all summer until it becomes torn down by this big blast of cold air that looks to happen here towards the middle to late part of January here. This is the end of the model run, about 10 days out, but you can see there is a connection with the two cold blobs right there. That is very significant and something to keep an eye on, because this could be crucial in our U.S. weather forecasting. This is going to be very much something to watch, and this is definitely signaling that the polar vortex could be on its way for middle January or late January. We're just going to have to see as well. Towards the beginning of the video, I showed you that there was low pressure 1 here that's going to come off the coast of California. I'll circle them again for you. You can see them rolling around here. You can see heavy cold rain for Texas here. And then we get some snow in Michigan. Watch how they phase together to create this massive winter storm. I said that at the beginning of the video. This could create a big, significant winter storm, potentially, if these two phase together. At the same time, when the polar vortex looks to drop, I showed you the atmospheric readings already, but I'll show you here again. You can see right here that we all have a system coming along here, and you can see as it's coming down, it's probably going to bring some impacts here. And watch how that polar vortex brings down some cold snow and rain. We're really going to have to watch the track of this low, and we're really just going to have to monitor like what steers it. And does the stratospheric warming actually push the polar vortex out of its place? Do we get this cold blast by January 10th? That is uncertain right now. But models have a very good agreement, actually, an ensemble, a very good agreement that we could have a massive cold blast going into middle to late January. Not doing any hype, I'm just saying it's certainly possible of what every ensemble model showed before. Alright guys, that's all I have for you. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're not already.